Hi guys, this is your quick training over mid-year LPAC. And in this LPAC, you're specifically going to be looking at your parent denials, M1 and M2 students. So if you don't have any of these students on your campus, then you've lucked out and you don't have to have an LPAC meeting throughout the month of January. For the rest of us, we'll need to continue on. So for these three different student groups, what you will want to do is the LPAC needs to review their progress. These are three different groups of students that are not receiving any services, and however, as a district, we do still have the responsibility to review their assessments or their course grades actually to see how they are actually performing through the year. Because it can be that the LPAC does and can it does have the power to have to actually have any follow-up with these students. That means that we can have conversations with parents for parent denials and see if they would want to reinstate their child to receive that type of support. For M1s and M2s, the LPAC does have the power for the students to actually move back into the program and receive support. So the LPAC actually has a lot of power. Now for this LPAC, what the LPACs are going to do is they're going to review the core content grades only. And you're going to see if a student has failed the core content. And remember, we're only looking at parent denials, M1 and M2 students. Now, if any of these students do have a failing grade for a core content, then you need to share this spreadsheet with that teacher. And because the LPAC is going to need information for the meeting. And so in for each campus, I have a separate tab so that way you already know what students those are. It doesn't hurt for you to pull a report from Skyward and make sure you don't have anyone missing, just to make sure there aren't any technical glitches. But what your teachers will need to do is the student's name is already listed and the EL status. So what we need to know from here is whether or not the student does have a failing grade, and if that failing grade is specific to language. And so obviously it's either going to be a yes or a no answer. And once they have answered this part, the next piece would be that we need to know what the reasons are for their failing grades. And so if it's not due to language, some of the options are that it could be because they have a lot of absences, so they haven't been there to do their work. It could be because they have failing test grades or incomplete assignments, or maybe they haven't turned in any assignments. So it could be that the reasons for their failing grades are not due to second language acquisition. Now, if we have a student who has failed due to language, the LPAC or the teacher can state the student has difficult time understanding when reading and during instruction. Linguistic supports have been provided. Student is given extra time, sentence stems, bilingual dictionary, and word bank. These are just a couple of examples, just to list a few, but this gives the teacher an idea of what sort of information the LPAC will need to review for the meeting. Now, once you have gotten the information from your teachers, the next piece would be to actually have your meeting. And so in Elevation, you have this mid-year LPAC tab. That's where you'll have your meetings. Here, once you have created your meeting, just quickly review your meeting notes, your meeting information, and just to make sure that everything is correct, the dates are correct, the people in attendance are correct, and the only thing that the only section that you're going to be using is the meeting notes. Now, based off of that teacher feedback that we saw earlier, you're going to use the meeting notes to actually document the feedback from that teacher for that student. I have included two examples, one where the student failed not due to language, and this bottom one is a comment of a student that did fail due to language. And if you notice up here, I also included the contents that they failed and what their grades were. Once you have included this information, you're going to hit save, and you're just going to move on to the next student and go through the exact same process for each of the students. If the students did not fail and they're passing all of their core content classes, then you can just state that they are making satisfactory progress. And that is going to be it, guys. If you have any questions for me, please let me know.